Responding to Fred Nile's burqa ban call, the then Premier of New South Wales, Bob Carr, issued the following warning: stereotypes are the first step in actual full-blooded racism. And that's why I find, or one of the reasons that I find Virginia's views as expressed in the column that she wrote, particularly the language in which they were couched via a conflation of nationalism and feminism, both a difficult pill to swallow and, more seriously, potentially a recipe for the inflammation of xenophobia within a community. The perpetuation of stereotypes such as the suggestion that all women who wear the burqa are concurrently oppressed and threatening, in combination with fear of difference, have exposed Muslim women to racist attacks in Australia. In the aftermath of September 11 and the Bali and London bombings, they were spat on, their veils were ripped off, and they were verbally assaulted. Debates like this can make Muslim women feel at risk rather than liberated, and they can actually put them at risk. In Germany earlier this month, a veiled Muslim woman was stabbed to death in the courtroom she was applying to for justice by the man she accused of vilifying her. And I'm running out of time, so despite my previous career as a broadcaster, apparently I can't keep to it. But if I can move on to media coverage of these issues, which is highly relevant because the call came from a very credible, respected journalist. So the media coverage of such issues as they pertain to women's traditional dress and also to Muslim women in general are particularly relevant. Muslim women are both the most highly visible members of one of the most marginalised groups in Western society and possibly the most vulnerable to racial vilification and stereotyping. Based on my research in this area over the past few years, which has involved both studying coverage and speaking to Muslim women about their experiences and perceptions of it, I've concluded that they are concurrently pigeonholed as terrorist threats, victims of male oppression, and sexualised exotic others who struggle to be heard beyond the veil as news media overwhelmingly perpetuate what they describe as ignorant, shallow misrepresentations of them. In the portrayal of Muslim women, attention is frequently focused on the way they dress, with their clothing seen as shorthand, a sort of symbol of shorthand, if you like, of their threatening alien status. And while they're virtually invisible in mainstream news, when they are appearing, they are generally expected to defend their choice of clothing or to comment on the veil or the burqa or whatever the case may be. Most recently, I interviewed and surveyed 18 women from diverse cultural and professional backgrounds, including a number of journalists, about their experiences of the reporting of Muslim women. 17 of the 18 participants were scathing in their criticism of mainstream news and the coverage of Muslim women. They cited rampant stereotyping as the biggest problem, highlighting the cliched representations of women as veiled, victims of misogyny and an oppressive regime, subject to polygamous marriages, uneducated, alien, subhuman, unassertive, foreign, fundamentalist, un-Australian, distant and unapproachable as significant causes for concern. The journalists among the participants also complained about rampant stereotyping, and many respondents lamented the media's conflation of culture and religion and the reductionist approach to coverage, describing it variously as racist, rubbish, opportunistic, negative, willfully uninformed, stupid and docile. Another issue highlighted was the secondary effect of such coverage, described as the silencing impact which caused Muslim women to feel bound to defend misogynistic men against negative reportage. One respondent summed up the general feeling of participants. She said, "The media has invented a stereotype of blind, obedient, colourless women, covered from head to toe in grey, which has nothing to do with real life. They never represent the diversity of Muslim women, our origins, professions, educations, opinions or clothes. Our voices are never heard themselves, just people speaking on our behalf, often typifying us as victims of brutal men. If we don't fit the stereotype, and nearly nobody does, then our views are dismissed as being atypical. The image in the media presents of Muslim women is just nothing like me or any of the Muslim women I know. It's a fantasy of Western ignorance which is reinforced every time it's in the press." And there I shall leave it. Thank you.